Technology. It's using modern communication methods, using internet, using TV, DVD, all that stuff. It's very attention-getting. I'm sure you saw the sign sitting outside the door. It's not very attention-getting. It just sits there. The digital signs are changing. They're dynamic. They're eye-grabbing. And it's more dynamic than flyers, and you can have up-to-date information on them just by putting content on it. Some of the negatives is it's very expensive. It often requires a complex server setup, expensive software, requires a lot more planning and research because there's definitely a science and technology to getting it up in the right place on a wall and having it serve the needs. Okay, so we're going to cover just a couple uses for digital signs. And there's a lot more than just this list, but it's what I had off the top of my head. A lot of people are using digital displays for just general information. You can put events up there to show the next speaker that's coming or a party or something. You can put maps up there. The University of Utah is actually working with a company called Ride Systems that puts a GPS on all of the shuttle buses. And we are actually displaying that on the digital displays through the internet so that people waiting in the lobby can see where the shuttle is and when it's going to come by next. So we can have, and that kind of ties in with the traffic. We're also using Google Maps to show what the traffic is. So some of the students or faculty who have to drive out of town, they can take a quick look and say, I'm not going to leave just yet. So that's some other useful information. Some of the other stuff that you would expect would be news through RSS feeds and or videos, podcasts, vodcasts, all that stuff can be put on them. And some other stuff that you might not think of right away, like a room schedule, that ties into a room reservation system, and emergency information. I'm sure we're all aware of the tragedies that have happened on campuses throughout the country. This is a real great way, digital signs, to get that information out when students may have their cell phone in their pocket and it's on vibrate and they don't hear it, or they're not generally checking their email at all times. These are a lot more dynamic. You can get information up quickly in a hurry, and people will see that. Here's the word that a lot of people like to avoid on campuses, and that's advertising. This is obviously where the money is, and this is a big draw to the usage of digital signs. Some schools are definitely opposed to it, and some are actually welcoming it, and I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's allowing the advertiser more dynamic. Obviously, it's better than putting up a poster because you can't change that, and you have to take it down after we can put up a new one. And you can put things like videos, flash animations, some interactivity or something on there. With regards to colleges and universities and schools and so on and so forth, we're finding that it's a real touchy subject because it's hard to come by money sometimes. And you want to provide the service to your faculty, staff, students in the university at large, but it's hard to pay for. And advertising is definitely a way that people are getting around that by putting specific ads up to help pay for the TVs and computers and stuff that they're using to put these up. So we don't advertise on ours, but I know some on our campus do. And I'll show you a demonstration. You can check that out. All right, so a lot of you have already purchased digital signage and put them up in the schools. Some of you may have not, and we're going to talk about a couple things to consider before you make the plunge and buy a bunch of TVs and put them up. All right, some things to consider. Okay, got to ask yourself, why are you using the digital signs, and if you have a clear purpose for those digital signs. Sometimes people will jump into something without thinking because it's really cool, and these are really cool. They're neat things. But you really want to have an intent. What are you going to use it for? Are you going to be able to put events up there? Are you actually going to use it for maps? Are you going to use it for videos or something like that? So having a real definition for what you're going to use this for will help the process and help you make the planning. The second point is a real big one, and that's, do you have content display and who is going to be in charge of it? We'll tell you a little bit more about the story and why we have it here, but that's been kind of the sticking point for us in ours, is that IT has a system, we've put it up, and IT is expected to populate it and put information on it. And that really shouldn't be the case. It should almost be a marketing and communications thing. So having figured out who's going to put the stuff up, who's going to create the pictures for it, who's going to put the videos up for it, that's a big step, because then that way, if you don't have a clear idea of who's going to do it, and IT puts something up, and it sits up there, you might as well have a poster up because the content is pretty old. We had a system before that we put up and nobody updated it in like a month, and it had really, really old information. But by using digital signs and using things like RSS and using stuff like that, you can actually automatically update them, and that's one of the nice things. And the third thing to consider is identifying the locations that you're going to want to put them. Sometimes you think, yeah, let's get one, but you really haven't put thought into, where are people, where's the traffic, where are the doors, where are the entrances, where are the exits, where are people, where is this going to benefit people? We put ours right in the lobby, right in the entryway, and we put it on a mount that actually tilts and turns. And we did that because it's right next to our courtroom, and we use it for overflow. So we'll put the video stream out there. So that's something that we actually considered to make sure that it was going to be useful when it's just sitting there, and then when we also have things going on. Okay, so we described DAN, and you're probably saying, DAN, okay, what is it? All right, DAN stands for Display and Alert Network. Okay, it's fully web-based, and it's an easy-to-use digital signage solution. All you need is a computer, an internet connection, and a display. That's it. A lot of people have this stuff sitting around. They have a spare computer, just plug it in the internet, and have a monitor or a TV or something they can plug it into. And the cool thing about DAN is that anything that you can put on the web can be put on this because it's fully web-based. What can it do? One of the big things, and this is what we'll cover first because it's what's attracted to universities, is the emergency alerts. As I said before, there's been a lot of things going on campuses where you need to get information out in a hurry. One of the knee-jerk reactions was to do text messaging, to be able to broadcast out to everybody that's subscribed to it and tell them that, hey, there's something going on, stay out of the hospital or stay out of the union or stay out of the library. And that's good. It's bad because not everybody signs up for it. And some people have, like, I just took my phone out of my pocket, so if there was something going on, I wouldn't see it. I could have it in my backpack. So that's not always, when you need to get something out quickly, it's not always the way to communicate that. The cool thing about the digital signs is that what we've implemented in the DAN is that at any given moment, somebody could go on, push out an alert, and every display on your network is going to show that alert. And I'll demonstrate it for you so you get the full effect. But it allows you to broadcast these messages to the TVs. They're very attention-getting. People notice them. And if I've got my headphones on or I've got my phone on vibrate or silent or something, you're going to see it walking by the TVs in the union or in the library or wherever you have them. And the nice thing about it is that they can be updated anywhere they have access to the internet. So through a PDA, through an iPhone or something, if whoever is in charge gets a phone call and says, I need you to get a message out, they can actually do it right from their phone and turn it on. So that's a cool thing about DAN. Another feature of it is we've created widgets. And for people subscribing to this, they can use, these are two examples of what we got, a clock and a weather widget. But anybody can create them and upload them and share them with others or just use them on their own. So they're quick bits of information. We all know, like I said, people have their headphones in, they're listening, they're walking, they want the information quick. Students are kind of picky about that sort of thing. So this will give them some information. You could put pictures on there, advertising, you could put a TV stream or audio stream or something on there. So that's something that we've thought of and put on all of our displays. We've also made it somewhat extensible so that people can actually create their own uses for it. Okay? And we're doing that through applications. Because it's web-based, if you know the dimensions of your screen, you can actually create a web application and have it do whatever you want it to do and put it on your display. So an example would be a room schedule, weather forecast. We actually did one for the recreation center that went to Ski Utah, because that's what Utah's known for, is skiing, and grabs the current weather conditions and webcams and actually puts it together, because it's an RSS feed, and displays it in a page formatted for the screen. And now the students, when they're up there, they can actually see the conditions as of right then and there, how much snow has fallen, what the canyon road looks like, and all the details that go along with it. So if you have a talented web programmer, you can really create just about anything that can be shown on here. So it's really, you can create any use that you want for it. And I'll show you some examples. And then one of the big ones for us is Akadi Match. a lot of people who do want to use advertising, and like I said, this is kind of double-edged sword, may not have the staff to do it, may not have the HR, may not have the marketing, and all that stuff. But they do want to make some money and recover some of the costs for using their digital signs. So what we've developed is something like, it's almost like online dating. It's a matching thing. So what you can do is go in and put in a profile for your display, where it is, how many people are going to walk by it, what are the demographics of those people. Then advertisers come in and say, all right, I want to hit the college group. 24 years old, I want them to be law students, and I want it to be in the Rocky Mountain West. So they can actually go in, put in that information, and we'll show them a list of people who are participating in the program, and then they just upload their thing, you approve it, and it goes in your display, and then you'll get a check every month based on the month that you negotiate with them. So that's kind of neat that a marketing person doesn't necessarily have to make phone calls or go out and create ads. The advertisers are going to be doing that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be advertising. That's why we're calling it Akadi Match instead of Ad Match, is that you can trade slides or trade videos or somebody across town or something like that and receive a fee for it too. So it doesn't necessarily have to be advertising. It can be any sort of content put on there. We're not quite done with it yet. Hopefully I have it done next month. We'll see. Okay, so you're probably asking yourself, okay, whoa. The law school, what's going on with this? How does the law school get involved? It's the question we get asked all the time. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a timeline on how this happened and where this came about and why we're here presenting it today. Okay, so before 2007, we got some funding because we wanted to do this project. We thought it would be really cool to put an LCD TV on the screen and put events and information on it. We're like, yeah, all right, cool, let's do it. We got money. And then we looked at how much some of these systems cost. And we thought, yeah, we got enough for the TV, but we definitely don't have enough for the software. We found software ranging everywhere from free, PowerPoint, all the way up to tens of thousands of dollars that require purchase of servers, special software, licensing and fees that you have to do for maintenance and stuff like that. So we said, it's a little bit too much. We're going to try to do our own. So in early 2007, actually in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, at a coffee shop, we started coding it. We had a model done about February of 2007, and we put it on the wall. We thought, hey, let's put it up there because we think it's really neat. Well, the bookstore, the campus store, like they like to be called, they just happened to be walking by. They came to drop off a computer or something and said, hey, we're doing research into digital signs. What are you using? And we said, well, we just threw something up and put it up there. And they said, oh, I'm going to go show my boss. We're going to consider using your software. And we said, okay, all right, that's really cool. So they did some research, and actually, in the summer of 2007, they said, hey, we're going to use your product. And we said, great, it's not really ready, so we had to make a mad scramble and reprogram the whole thing to allow other people to be able to sign on. It was great. It was a weekend of fun. Okay. So we actually then got the campus store's input, so it was really nice that we had them to work off of, and that they gave us some feedback of the needs of what an entity on campus is going to want. So it was actually a blessing in disguise that we got the campus store because they're involved with advertising. They're involved with event display and information dispersal, and they actually have a built-in demographic right there. People walking by, we could quiz them and ask them, what do you think of this? How does this look? So it was really cool that we had that. We also had the Outdoor Recreation Center, and that's where we got to do some of the fun stuff, which was the ski reports and webcams for the mountains and stuff like that. So we also got to try out some other utilizations of it. Aside from advertising and videos, we actually created some applications. That's good. All right, and you're probably asking why we named it Dan. We named it after a colleague of ours. His name is Dan Gorrell. He passed away in July of 2007. He was 28 years old. He was our boss. These two guys up here also work at the university, so he was very close to us. And to kind of remember him, we thought, gosh, it would be really cool if we could name the software after him. Dan, what? Dan, Display and Alert Network, which is exactly what this does. So it was one of those things where he just came down and said, hey, here's the idea. So that worked out nice. I'm sure he loves it. Okay, so we have the software, and we thought, great, cool. People are going to want to buy this. We might want to do something about it. But again, there was a cool opportunity for us. We named the company Akadi Technologies. We saw it in an REI ad, and we thought that the word was kind of cool, Akadi. It's kind of neat. But these two right here were actually pretty pivotal. we have a new ventures clinic at the University of Utah, the College of Law, taught by an adjunct professor. And basically, the premise of the class is to take a theoretical company, write a term sheet, write license negotiation, terms of service, and all that stuff. Well, I just happen to be good friends with the professor for that course. And he said, well, why don't we use Akadi, and we'll write up terms of service, we'll use it as an example, and the students can actually be involved in something that's real. They can actually, talk with the people who are doing the license, talk with the inventors, and use it as a class example. So that was really cool. So throughout the whole semester, they actually talked with our commercialization office. In class, they would do research into terms of service agreements, negotiating a license between the commercialization office and us as Akadi. So it was really neat that we involved it in actual classroom stuff, and we used it as an example. And then the Lassonde Center, which is our entrepreneur center through the business school, actually entered into the Utah Entrepreneur Challenge. So not only were we involving law school students, we actually grabbed some business students. They wrote a business plan, they entered in the contest, we gave a presentation about it, and they got to look at the business side of it. So they used it as a learning experience in how to predict the market and do research into that sort of thing, and patents and all that sort of stuff. So that was really cool that we were actually born out of the university, and then that they were involved in that too. Okay, so in 2008, we made the top 10 in the Utah Entrepreneur Challenge out of 180 teams, so that was really cool. Currently, there are over 70 screens across our campus, and here's an example of where they are. They're in the Union, the bookstore, law school, outdoor rec, education, humanities, and they're putting more throughout. They're just kind of piloting right now, getting used to the software. Marketing and communications is going to be putting them in different buildings. They're calling it the University Broadcast Network. And we have a couple schools in the area and throughout who are actually demoing the software, checking it out, pitching it to their people. So that's kind of neat. All right, so I'm going to give you a quick demo of what Dan is. I know I can sit here and talk about it all day, but it's actually cooler to see it. So, all right, our website is akaditech.com, in case you're curious. So that's that one right there. So here's an example of what's hanging up in I apologize, we were having some issues with the resolution here. Usually this is on a flat panel screen that's that big, and there's no border or anything like that, but I wasn't able to get a TV past security at the airport, so I'll show it on here. So here's an example of an application where we have the room schedule. It shows it interfaces with XML to our database, grabs the current room schedule, and it throws up the events for that moment in time, just like at an airport with a flight schedule. And then here's an example of our ad. It's flash animation, and it hangs out up there. This is an example of the one that the university is releasing. You can see this is the one that has the widgets on it. So we've got the weather, pretty hot out there, and the clock. We have different templates, and that's why the other one looks a little bit different than this, that they can easily just switch between them. But they put videos up there, flash videos, and they can update it whenever they want, and it will actually reflect and change all of the displays in that network that are pointed at this one. So there's an example of the one that they're using. The other cool thing about it is because it's web-based, we can make templates based on different resolutions. So you can see this one's a little bit shorter this way because this fits on a 1024 by 768 screen. So what we've done is we've taken some of the monitors that we have that we were just going to get rid of, stripped them out, mounted them on a wall, and pointed the computer to this particular one. So what it does is it goes through and it updates every minute or so, and it'll show what's going on in the class, and then a short schedule of what's going on later today. So not only are we using it for that sort of media communication and events and that sort of thing, but we're actually also using it as like a room scheduler. So students can say, oh, okay, well, after 5:30 I could go in this room. If it were available, it would say this room is available. If it were available for another hour, it would say available for 1 hour. So we're also using it in that regard too. Let's see what else we got here. We also have an example up in Ely, Minnesota. We actually came across this group. We were at the Outdoor Retailer Show for fun, and we came across these guys. And this is actually a company in Ely, Minnesota that does canoeing and kayaking tours. And they wanted to try it because they wanted to put video in their store, so they can have things like this showing, enticing customers to rent a canoe or go up to the bookstore or something like that. So this is the example that they're using, and they've got some cool videos up. He's talking about renting a canoe, and then they've got one about their bookstore, and then they've got another one about buying used canoes. So, and then they've got pictures, slideshows, and that sort of thing. So they're using it for that sort of thing. And then here's the page at the University of Utah that's actually their sales point about it, telling other places how they can actually put it in there and get one in their screen. So the university actually as a whole is going to be running it through our software, putting them in different places across the university, and then controlling the content on that. They can schools can sign up for their own if they really want to, or they can let marketing communications do it. And they've actually done some cool things. I think I showed you the one that they had. Let's see. Yeah, this one right here. So they're actually going out and doing all the legwork on that sort of stuff. So, and I think that's all I have for you today. If you're interested in knowing more, here's the information for it and my email address.
Have you had issues with cable link? Because it sounds like you need to have a PC attached to it.
Yeah, how it works is the most basic is that you have a PC somewhere. You run a cable. We're working on wireless right now. Sometimes there's issues of it choking out, but we're fixing that up. Run it to the display, and it's sitting right there, and it will show on there. The bookstore actually has a what's the thing called? Basically, what it is it's a little thing, broadcaster. They plug it into. They actually run the signal over Ethernet, and then it has a little VGA thing at the end, and then they plug it into the TV. So they're doing that for they'll have the one computer that's sitting in their server room, and then they're broadcasting out to other locations. We just use the simple model. A lot of the outdoor rec center, the canoeing people, and us actually just have the computer sitting behind a wall or in a closet or in the ceiling or something like that. So it's really close. So.
Do you foresee doing anything with elevators? I mean, that might be a wireless application, but is that something that could...
Well, the thing about it is that all of this obviously came real fast on us. We got some funding, and we thought it'd be really cool to put something up, and we, in 2007, about a year and a couple months ago, we created the software. And ever since, it's just been bam, bam, the bookstore's asking us about it, and then we have this retailer in Ely, Minnesota, of all places, asking about it, and then we're entered in a contest, so it's been really fast, and actually the two people who are in charge are me and Wes right here in the front. Wes, stand up there. So for two people to really continue innovating and stuff like that, we're trying to figure out, trying to get funding and trying to have the university spend some money into it, because one of the ideas we had with the shuttle thing, I mean, that's a really cool, useful thing for students to know when the shuttle's coming. We've got GPS on our shuttles. So putting these at bus stops or shuttle stops, big bus stops and big shuttle stops, wirelessly would be awesome. It'd be really cool and informative. So we're working on that.
Actually, at North Carolina State University, they have plasma screens up in their library, and working through their IT folks, let's see now, you can tell where there is an empty computer in the library. You can not only tell what the bus schedule is, but where the bus is on the route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me show you
They've played quite a bit with it.
Let me show you quick. We actually, our library has a page that will show them. Here's the Union. Here's their example. We're working with them to get one that fits the screen with ride systems. But this actually shows you where the shuttles are. So now you can see where they are on campus. So you can stand here and say, oh, okay, well, it's the Union. You would actually have to know the Union's right here. Yeah. So the shuttle's going to take a little while to get there. Actually, it's coming right up. So I would know to get my butt out there and get on the shuttle. Yeah. So this is kind of neat. And if you can imagine using those smaller displays, let's find out where that smaller one was. I think I just, let's do this. You can put the smaller template with the smaller TVs out there and get one that's formatted to fit this and just put it on a pole out there so that while they're waiting they can see it. And it's just wireless. And like I said, we ran into a couple issues with wireless, just communicating with the server, but we're working that out. It's Windows. It doesn't like it.
Can you feed like a cable TV feed into it?
We're working on that too. Right now you can't because it's web-based. It has to be able to be put on the web. We've actually hacked one together but it's probably illegal the way we're doing it. So we don't want to publicize it or put it out there. But
you can, I mean, if you've got a a cable link and you've got the rights to show it in your building, then yeah, you can just feed it. You can create your own page. It's streaming the video, whatever, and lock it down to your system. Push it right out.
Well, one of the other cool things is with the applications and YouTube and that sort of thing, you can actually put in the URL of a YouTube video, and it will display on there just like it's playing. So it's almost like, I think the ad on the UBN page said it's almost like running your own cable TV station. And that's kind of the way it is. We actually are going to be in Indoor Outdoor Magazine. We were interviewed because of this the retail industry really wants to put video at point-of-sale places and other areas throughout the store. And maybe you see in the grocery stores. I know there's a few in Salt Lake City that actually have them in the produce department. But putting that information out there and being able to show them the video, here's how you pick the right orange or something like that. That's what they're looking for, and they did an article on video in the store. And the canoeing place is going to be doing fly fishing demos on there to show them in the fly fishing area. Here's how you pick a rod and reel, and here's how you do it, and that sort of thing to get them interested and get them hooked. So putting video on there and having your own TV station is kind of the thing. But we're trying to figure out how to do actual TV, because I know that's been a question too. So. Yeah.
Have browser version changes ever knocked you for a loop?
No, actually, Firefox 3 was just released a couple days ago. Downloaded, it's awesome, and no, it did not. Right now, it only works in Firefox, mainly because it likes to cooperate with standards and stuff like that, and it's really easy on me. Internet Explorer, I really hate Internet Explorer. I'm sorry if you like it, but it's just been a nightmare trying to get it to work, so we'll not work with that just yet. But Firefox is an easy download, and you just might like it. So, but we're going to get it to work in all of them. It works on the iPhone. It's really cool putting one of these small things on the iPhone. I don't know what you use it for, but it works with that. It works in Safari and that sort of thing. Just not IE standards and the way it reads. So.
What kind of power requirements do you have? Like if the power dies, do you need to have someone run around and hit the power buttons on all the computers to turn them back on?
We just have all our PCs set to resume, to turn back on when the power goes out. So we've never really had that problem. Sometimes you find that the actual TV screens will need to get turned back on, and that's just the nature of the beast. Unless you have one that you can set to turn back on.
Then you have Firefox pop back up.
Yeah. We just have that just load as default full screen.
We're working actually on some reporting stuff too that will tell you if the TV's not responding, because we do have reporting software built into it. So if, for example, a TV hasn't responded or the computer has not responded in 15 minutes, it would actually come up and say your TV is not or the computer has not responded. Check it out, or something like that. So.
What form factor do you use the computers that you have running these displays?
We started with a Mac Mini because it's this big, but you can use anything really. I mean, we have a big honking one sitting down by we're using it as a proof of concept for our dean to help us buy a few more, but we have a real big old one just sitting next to the one on the wall next to the room showing this one. But
800 megahertz.
Yeah, it's pretty. All it needs to do is connect to the internet, right? So you could really run anything on it. It'd be really cool if you could do video out on the iPhone, because you could run it on that, but it'd be kind of expensive.
We have a similar system across our campus called Shark 2, and they use a Pico ATX board built into LCD screen.
Oh, really?
As a module.
Where are you at?
No, Southeastern University.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
And we've looked into that kind of hardware. Basically, we wanted to make it totally hardware agnostic, so you can put it on anything. In fact, we have looked into some of those Pico ITX boards and stuff like that. All it has to do is run Firefox, so it'll run on anything.
Russ is the hardware guru for our group, so he's been putting them on little displays, big displays, TVs, and that sort of thing. So we
run on Linux too.
One of the things that we've tried to do is really make this for people who don't have a lot of funding and who want to try something, but they're turned off by the system requirements and that sort of thing. And being able to run it on any PC, Firefox is the only restriction, but putting it on anything, and it will run with no configuration at all. You just need to be able to do full screen on it, and it's running. So for small coffee shops, smaller universities, or universities that are strapped for money, I know we're really we're really hurting for funding these days. So we need to find some of these things. And we do charge for it because we're spun off as a company, and my credit card can only take so much charging on it. But for $69 a month, that's it. And I know a lot of systems are. We looked at one that was $6,000 for the software that could only be installed on one computer, and every instance of a display that was running was $2,500, and that was like triple our budget. So this is quite affordable for most people in education. Okay, yeah, I think you had it first.
Yeah, I can tell you all about the price of these things. We're looking at 3-panel display between $30,000 and $40,000.
Yeah, a lot of times you have to buy these rack mount servers. And the thing is a lot of the software requires a PhD in computer science to run. And it's not IT people that are often running these things. Like I said in the notes, when you're considering doing this, who's going to be uploading, who's going to be updating, and who's going to be running it. And if you go with some of the software that's very difficult to use, and it's a secretary or it's a marketing person that's not as savvy with web stuff or technical stuff, they're going to get frustrated and your content's not going to get updated. So that is a big thing, and what we've tried to do, actually let me show you the administrative, and I don't think I showed you that. That was really silly. So what we've done is try to create this so that it's very easy to administer, like drag and drop easy. So I'll show you that. Let's go in and play with ours. So once you're in, it's a pretty simple setup. Once you're in, you manage your portal, and we've got a list of our assets here. We've got our available pages, and we've got our live pages. So we've only got 4 actually being displayed right now. Okay. So assuming that I've already uploaded the asset, and I can show you how to do that, it's pretty simple. Putting one into display, you would take it, we'll drag it, and drop it. There you go. You've just put that in. You have to save, obviously, but you've just put that in. So next pass, that actually sees that it's in the playlist and will play it. Reordering is just as easy. Pick, drag, drop, reorder. So we actually have administrative assistants running this, and we've actually been working with them, saying, okay, if you were going to do this, how would you do it? So we pitch a couple things to them. They look at it and they say, I like that. That's easier. This is a little confusing to me. So we've got our own built-in user base that we can quiz. And that's the comment that we've had when we were in the Utah Entrepreneur Challenge and giving demos and stuff like that. That's the one thing that we heard is like, wow, this is really easy to use. You can also jump it out by clicking the red button or the green button. You can see how that just pops in and out. So if you're doing a quick update, the bookstores really said this, doing quick updates for them takes about 20 minutes because this is what they do. They just boom, 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 and then they pick a couple that they want to show, they're changing it up, and they just change their order completely after they hit save. So that's pretty neat. Adding a slide, it's pretty simple. You name it, you can pick what type of type it is. It'll eventually be auto-detect, but for right now you have to pick it. Say image, file, browse for the file. I mean, it's pretty standard web stuff. A lot of intermediate novice users, they know how to do this. They've used it on YouTube and stuff.
So if you're putting your room schedule in, you've got to format a web page and make sure that it doesn't extend.
Kind of. Okay, one of the cool things that I mentioned before was applications. And what we're trying to do with this to make it a little bit easier for people to... The room schedule is slightly more advanced because you have to interface with something. You have to interface with a room calendar or some sort of a calendar. So that one, it's got to be a little bit more advanced. I'll show you the difference between the two. The extended weather, you can actually put in parameters. Okay? So for here, zip code. There you go. You've got the weather, and we're working on getting rid of this, but you have to put one in for the radar location. Okay, so it can be as easy as just putting in a zip code. However, the room schedule, to configure, we actually had to put in an instruction list on how to create the XML that interfaces with it. So we talk about here the kind of XML magic that you have to do, what everything means, and how to do it. So with a web programmer, I mean, it's pretty easy to create a dynamic, something that just grabs the XML. So as long as you have a page that can create this, you can put it up there. And once you've got it, it's done. I mean, once you've got that interfacing dynamically, so all it does is Ajax magic, goes out, grabs it, comes in, and then it shows it on our screen. So what we're doing, and here's some parameters, the URL, and then if you want to change the colors, you can type in the colors and stuff like that. So as other people develop applications, We actually, they can register any parameter they want, color, URL location, something like that, and then the end user, so the people who are configuring this, that's all they need to do is just type something quick in. And that's the one thing that we're trying to stress with this. Like with looking at the $10,000, $20,000 systems, oftentimes you'll look at the software and go, holy smokes, how am I going to manage this? I hate it. We're trying to make it so that people, when they go, it's not a problem. I'll go in and throw it up there and make it easy for you. And that's another one of the barriers to digital signs in general, is that people tend to think that digital signs are going to be very complex. I'm not going to know how to hook it up or make it work. So we're really trying to make it easy. And this goes for application development in general, I guess, because I do the web stuff, and I'm giving a presentation tomorrow on some things. But making it easier for the users to use it makes it more enjoyable for them. So that's what we're really trying to do with this, and what different universities and stuff have really liked is that it's the stuff that needs to work and not all this other magic that nobody ever uses anyway. So, yeah.
I see that you guys are hosted at 1-on-1.
Yes.
Is there a plan to bring that internal at some points, or do you always plan on hosting external?
Well, it was when it first started. This was a pet project at the University of Utah at the College of Law. So we actually hosted it on our servers and stuff. And when we were spun off as a company, that's kind of illegal that we're using university resources to do this. So I've used 1-on-1 in the past just for working with outside groups and stuff like that. They have 24/7 backup. They've got something in Kansas City that's nuclear proof. So that's what I like about that. If this were successful and if people really liked it and it grew, we might bring it in and do something. But like I said, my credit card limit is not that high, and I'm trying to buy a house. So.
So what are the plans for like storage and creating these apps and uploading these images and that sort of stuff?
Storage is pretty cheap with 1-on-1. So right now we're hosting it. But one of the things you'll see, applications can actually be hosted anywhere. So if you had a cool app and you emailed me and said, Aaron, it'll eventually be automatic. You just register yourself. But you said, I have this cool app I'd like to share with people. I would just create an app and point it to your server. So it runs on your server. And it's kind of the Facebook model where our system's closed source, but it's really open for you to create what you want and create the utility that you need for it. Okay, so what was I going to show you?
Oh, the alert.
Oh, the alert, yes. Let me show you the alert thing. I'm forgetting about. Okay, so I told you about the alert and how that works. I'll give you a quick demo here. So let's take a look at. Let's just close this out. Okay, here's ours. That's our dean, Hiram, speaking. Pretty neat. So to put an alert up, you actually can have one pre-typed or put in. Turn it on. You click on, save changes, and there it goes. Actually goes over all of the content and actually goes and tells them what's going on. So if updates are made to this, it checks every five seconds or so for an alert, and then it pops it up there and puts the changes. So if you had a video to embed, like I said, anything you can put on the web, if you have a local news station that has putting something on their website about an emergency, you could actually pop that on there and just have it loop. So that's kind of neat about that too. It can be run from a phone. We have a web app that you can use. So if you're on your iPod or your iPhone and you're actually there, you get a call, you can actually just boom, check it, and then you saw how that works. So, and that's built into all of them. It's a network, and you can subscribe to other groups' networks. So if the 7-Eleven down the street wanted to sign, and they had it up, they could actually technically sign up for the University of Utah's alert feed, and then anytime an alert got pushed out by their office, it would actually show up on theirs too. So there's like social networking kind of sense to it too, and that's in that Akadi match. That's kind of what we're going after is kind of that networking aspect of it, which is kind of neat. So, oops.
Yeah, and one big thing for this too is we wanted to be able to share stuff between different groups on campus. Like, there's some college on campus doing something law related. We wanted to be able to share that kind of thing amongst the different departments. So we thought this would be a really cool way to do it. So we can share, criminal law things with people that might be interested in that across campus or whatever it might be.
Yeah, like for example, the hospital has malpractice. If somebody up there speaking about malpractice, they could actually share the slide with us across our network, and then we could say, hey, go up to the hospital and check out the cool malpractice speaker that they've got up there. It's really interesting with a video or a picture or something. So, anybody else have any questions? Or want to see anything else, I can give you a demo.
You're talking about doing like a 2-week trial or something like that?
Yes, we have 3-day trial for people. We're small. I mean, we're really small, and we wanted to come here to share this because, you know, law school pride kind of a thing. You know, it's something that came out of a law school. But we're, you know, that's why the difference in price between the commercial, which we fully expect to take advantage of advertising, and then the educational one. You know, coming out of an educational institution, we want to help them. I mean, we do have to charge a little bit because, like I said, you know, right now I'm paying for it with my credit card for the hosting fees. But, you know, we want people to be able to use this and show you that it's different and better than some of the stuff that you may be looking at, or the really expensive things. So we're allowing, you know, 30 days, try it out. We talked to somebody from Willamette University, from Creighton. Not the school, the big school, but different departments within the school. BYU, Salt Lake Community College, Weber State. And we're just giving them a demo, try it out, answering the questions, but also gives us feedback because we're small. How are people going to use this? And that's one of the cool things too, is that we can take feedback from meetings or from phone calls or emails and stuff like that and build features into it while we're going. So we can really make it something that people will want to use and not just something that we said, oh, you're going to want this, so here you go. So. Yeah, if you're interested, you can just send me an email and we can set something up for you and have you try it out.
So right now it's 100% hosted.
Yes.
Have y'all thought about actually selling it direct, buy it, post it on my server?
No, and here's why.
Same thing he was asking.
And here's why. Yeah. Because our intent is to make this easy to use, and because we realize that there's a lot of solutions out there for big, huge projects like Cisco and some of the other ones, okay, that you actually have the server and do it. We realize that some IT groups out there have, we talked to one guy, where is he, had one person in their IT group. Yeah, okay. Do you really want to make an installation, do all the upgrades, and one more thing you have to do? Maybe not.
Possibly.
Possibly, I guess some of them, yeah, some of you will. So one of the things that we're doing is we're kind of taking that Facebook approach, because you can't install Facebook or MySpace or some of those other ones. We can take care of the updates. We can roll out a new application. We can roll out a new template. We can roll out some new features and not have to contact every one of you and have you install your updates. Maybe your guy's out of town, or maybe he's, you know, not able to do it or something like that, and we have 7 different versions running out there. So if we host it and we can roll out the updates to you immediately and you have access to these new features, we think that's a little bit more beneficial for some of the people who are going to be using it than giving you installation CDs and having you try to run your own. So.
Have you thought of any other payment structures? Because the situation that I have, I may go 6 months and not have enough money in my budget to buy pencils or pens. But then I get 80 grand out of this grant that goes for IT things, and you know, I wouldn't think twice about giving you, $5K for something like that. But the $69 a month recurring, that would be an issue.
It's recurring, but actually Paragus, up in they're up near the Boundary Waters in the Arrowhead of Minnesota. Their business stops in September because it snows a lot up there, right? So they're actually they're just signing up for 6 months and then canceling, and then they'll probably sign up again come May or whenever they want to sign their stuff back up, because their store really closes over the winter. So we're creating this for people to use. We're not going to be completely deaf to what people need and what they want to use it for. So we have some interesting things in place where you could just suspend your account and then your signs won't work, and then you come back on and then they turn back on. That's the beauty of a web thing. I can just click one button and then it just disables your account.
What about like yearly payments?
Yeah, we do yearly payments.
Okay,
that's what you're at. Yeah. That's and the union is doing that. They're just writing a check once a year instead of every month. It'll just be every 12 months. So the scheduling, that's what's gonna happen. Or you can do 6 months on, 6 months off. I don't know, whatever. If you're seasonal. So, did I miss anything? Sorry, I had too much coffee today. Kind of all over the place. So, all right. Well, like I said, if you have any other questions, this is my email address. You can just drop me an email, and I'm pretty good at responding. And that's our website if you want to check it out. So.
working right now. Gave me an error message.
How about you send me an email?
Oh, I didn't tell you. I didn't send you an email about the contact me. I sent you an email with my contact.
Maybe 3 times out of 10.
It was basically a win. That's not what
We're telling you to meet at 5:45 in the lobby. Okay. Walking back now. Just walking down Market and hang out there. There's gotta be something here there.
I thought you said they were the best crab cakes up there.
There you go. They're supposed to go.
Are they supposed to be?
I don't know. I don't know. I've never been up there.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I do. Actually, if I could take 2, I want to give him
Oh, yeah? So you got
No, because we have certain meetings to be in.
You're not coming at 9 o'clock?
Yeah, but Tim will be here like 15 or something for his presentation.
After you get done, not at all.
Yeah.
All the time I can.
But no, we forgot, no, because they have good bars.
Yeah, we pretty